can see, I've got the I used up every clamp. I think I have two small little metal C-clamps left, and I went ahead and used everything to put all of the spacer blocks on. So and I almost ran out of I don't know how much Gel Magic I got, a little bit in the tube, but I was nip and tuck as to whether I was going to make it to the end here. So let me go ahead and remove all the clamps and we'll start working on the inner rails. Now, none of the, well, I shouldn't say that, none of them. There was a couple of these longer rail blocks up on the bow here that I did go ahead and, before I put the Gel Magic on them, I drilled the holes for stainless screws. They'll be covered up, but I wanted something in here to keep them from sliding around because they were set at a little angle because we're going to bevel these down. So the other ones are all flush with the rails. So let me go ahead and take the clamp off and we'll come back. Okay, you can see how I got the longer pieces into the corner, and then it starts out with this 3-inch gap, 3-inch spacer block, and then into the 10-inch. I used 10 inches on the Orlock socket, and that worked out fine. You could use a 12-inch. Those three blocks there would be over to the left a little bit longer, and then the end block would be a little bit shorter, but it would work. And then we go up towards the bow, and, excuse me, then the spacer rails up there and come back again. So now we go ahead and start working on some of the inner rails. I'm going to be, probably the first thing I got to do is figure out how I'm going to come into the corner, which one's going to overlap which one. Actually, it doesn't really matter because there's going to be a gap in here just like these other ones were that I held over. I'll show you when I get there. This is what I'm going to try for here. I've got just a little bit of scrap wood clamped in place there, and I've got my inner stern rail was the same thickness as this outer one. It'll be a little thicker than the inside side rails, but the transom is always nice to get some extra strength if you're covering a motor. So I've got that down in there, and both these holes will be filled with ez-fillet, and there will be a plate underneath, but we'll get to that later. And then right here, I used my straight edge to come off, get my finger, this lower lip here, and I used that to draw the long arc. The short one was going from the top, but I want to match the other side, so it'll go with the bottom edge. Probably the most important thing I had to check here is to make certain that my little electric paddle is going to fit over the rail. And it's just barely makes it out there, so I will have to add some material under here for the clamps inside, and a little bit outside too for the bottom part of the motor to run up against. So I'll make a pretty little plate back there. But I got the rail in, and you can see it bounced around. Came out in my corner. That all gets filled with ez-fillet, and it'll be shaped down. These angles will be rounded over, so, and then beveled down a little bit. Well, I've got the inside rail in, and now I've got to go through and with these these clamps. It's like when you start out, you're closing them down for the outside rail, and then when you finish up, you're opening them up for first the spacer rails, and then the inside rails. So let me go ahead and I'm going to be forcing this around. I don't know if I will pre-drill these before I glue them. I may, just in case I get low on clamps. Go ahead and put because each one of these blocks. Well, here, let me get the finger front. There will be a single screw going through the middle of the inside rail, through the spacer block, plywood, and then into the outer rail a little bit, but just short of coming through the other side. So let me go ahead and finish this up. It's just basically just moving along, twisting it up, pulling it down. It's kind of the battle we had with the outside rail because there's so much curve here. But it's going to look, I always like it when it gets to this point. You're starting to look like you've got a boat. So we'll come back. And the other thing I want to mention too is you want to start clamping at the bow. And then I noticed I had this clamp here and I had to go back and re-loosen some because I was getting some gaps in here. So the rail was away. So you want to pull it back in because that means the rail's got to come this way. And so I'll go ahead and put some more, keep working from the whatever direction you started with and work in that other direction, clamping and moving it in place as you go along. Well, I've got the inside rail in place and clamped all the way around the perimeter. And you can see the clamps in the front. So the only thing I have to do now is I got to go to the hardware store and get some screws for the side rails. I have longer ones for the bow and stern rails to tie them all together, but I need to get some more stainless screws for the sides. And we'll I got to run to the store and get Gel Magic too, so we'll come back. Well, I've got the Gel Magic on the inside rail, the long one on the transom, and I've got the starboard side already glued up, and the bow. So now I'll go ahead and mix some Gel Magic, and you only want to put it on the faces of the spacer blocks. So let me go ahead and get my more Gel Magic mixed up, and we'll start on that. Got my Gel Magic mixed up. Now I'll go ahead and start putting it on the, remember it, on the faces of the spacer blocks. Get a few blocks covered, and then bring out your little serrated tool. I also have a mark up at the end here where the epoxy stops. Just get a good coating, don't overdo it. Some of the stuff on the top will get planed down. I did one mess up off camera there. I was on the bow and the transom inside rails. I forgot I had gaps in there, and I had to go and I did the whole bar, and then I went, whoa, there's gaps. So I had to go back and scrape it all off in the gap holes. Dry spot, take some back. Which reminds me, when I get done with this, I need to measure what I have here so I can update the drawings. I'm about, I don't know, half an hour of typing to finish up the text plans. So I'll be finished with those things. And I've got just a little bit left on the drawings. And I may have the drawings 95% done when I publish. The little special thing I'm going to do on the underneath the seat, not everybody will want it, and so if you do, I will send you those missing pages, and then I'll update the file set with those new drawings so that all the future ones will have complete listings. So let me go ahead and start putting the clamps on here. Okay, I marked the top, and then along several places along here I took my sliding angle and put some straight lines across to give me an idea of where I want to be. And there's one of them. And I'll use some temp clamps. Okay. Remember, this one's flush with the top of the spacer block rails. And they're flush with the outside, regardless of what the plywood is. Jeez, let go of my glove. And as I said before, start from the bow and start clamping to the stern, so you don't create a gap anywhere along in here. Because of so much curve to the rails, too, you're going to have to do a little bit of clamping. You can see it goes along pretty good, pretty quick pace. You get on here to the transom, you're going to be doing some pushing down and lifting up at the same time. Just feel along with your thumb as to which way you're going to have to go, up or down. And you want to watch it, you don't set the clamps down too in a puddle of gel magic, and then all of a sudden you got epoxy on your the threads of your clamp, which a lot of these have. Okay, here's where the fun begins. Now I got to pull this baby up. A lot. Okay. And I'm going to get another clamp here. Let me come back. And use a big jaw or a wide jaw vice grip in here to lift it up so I could get this clamp in place. And I think maybe I will, oh no, that won't work. Okay. Readjust these, okay. See if it stays the same. Okay, that works. And then go down all of them and check that they're tight. And then I've got a little spot in here I got to fill too, so we'll come back.